welcome to my Versal video. This is not going to be a step-by-step how do you create a Versal course. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you what I've done in my class. Maybe that will give you some ideas. Maybe it's something that you actually could use in your class just the way that I've done it. More than likely, it'll just give you some ideas. What I've done is I've started actually here in Canvas, which is what my district uses for their LMS. And last year, for my geometry lesson, I used Versal quite a bit. This was a unit that I thought would work really well with Versal. I just discovered Versal, and this was a chance to use it in a way that will help students be independent, be able to work on it on their own. I was working with small groups at the time, and the geometry unit is just one of those that tends to be a review for a lot of students. And so I thought this was just a nice way to review some vocabulary, basically. And so you can see that here I have my geometry lesson 1, and I set Canvas up so that they would have to move through this in sequence. And so let me just go ahead and just click on this first one on sets and subsets. And let me show you that I have embedded Versal right inside of Canvas. So if you're using an LMS, perhaps this is something that you could do. Or you can just use it standalone, you know. So here's Versal, you can see. And title, text, I'll point all this out later. A little task that they can do to practice some of these vocabulary words. Matching, I use that quite a bit because that was pretty simple, plus it gives them a chance really to kind of play with the vocabulary. And there's other things that I can embed, but they just moved through this, and then when they were ready they moved on to the next thing, which was just a quick little quiz, just a little check to see how they were doing. And if they didn't do very well, then they were encouraged to come back and go through this a little slower so that they could think about these vocabulary words that more than likely they've had in the past. They just need some reminders. And then after that, they moved on to a kind of an independent project that we were working on for vocabulary. And let me bounce over now to Versal. I've already signed in. Here's my geometry lessons that I've already I've pointed out one of them to you, so I won't go through all of them. What I will do is I'll go to this practice one, which I made today, and yeah, I'm just going to click on it. So I can share it right away. I can go back and edit it. I can publish it. I think I'm going to go edit. I don't want to publish it right now. It's certainly not ready to go because I've not done anything. So I can change my title. You can see that very easily. And then after that, I have to grab a gadget and drag it into the canvas. This is very similar to a lot of online applications that you'll see now. It's just drag and drop. So if I want a section header, similar to this one, I can drag in the next section. Text, I can drag in the text box. And I could start writing. Start writing. Why? Okay, thank you. Wow, that was, I just wasn't clicking on it, I reckon. There we go. If I wanted to add an image, which I have done on one of mine, then I could just drag that in there. Video, quiz. Categories is the matching game that I showed you, where you could do a short response. What's nice is that you're able to, before you drag it, just see a quick little example. It'll load it up real fast there, and well, real fast unless you're making a video, then it's not so quick. Please answer the following. What color is the sky? They type in their answer, they submit it. Okay, short response. Short response. I like this idea with images and questions to go along with it. But it could just be questions, honestly. Deeper diagram, which is very similar to that one I showed you earlier. You could add map if that's what you're working on. Slideshow. I've used a slideshow just to kind of remind them of polygons. I gave them a slideshow with picture of it and its name, because sometimes they forget some of those polygon names. Whiteboard you could add and write on it. This is mathematical expressions. Markdown is an HTML editor. Timeline, visual ranker, where you're able to put things, just literally just be able to drag them. The students can drag them and put them in order. These are the gadgets. I think there's actually more that you can go and find under downloads, maybe. I could be wrong about that, but I seem to remember. Oh, gadget market. So there are other gadgets that you can go and look for. Add them to your bar down here, and be able to add that to your own presentation. So this was great, and it was really cool for the students because, again, they were able to work independently, which is really nice for those that like to move on a little bit quicker and don't have to wait. And it's good for those that are a little bit slower because it gives them a chance to kind of look over the material longer and take their time. And when they don't pass that quick little check quiz, they can come back and kind of review the vocabulary or the tasks or whatever again. So it worked really well, especially for geometry. Could I use it for something else? Of course I could. I love that this allows me to add something interactive and really visually cool to my Canvas pages. And so I definitely will be using it again. So I hope that you'll find a need for Versal. And I know that your kids will enjoy it much more than, say, a typical worksheet or whatever. So I hope that you'll give it a shot. And thanks for watching.